She had never seen the man she was being asked to marry. 4 years, the blind Apache woman had lived in darkness, never knowing what the cowboy beside her looked like. But after their marriage, something unexpected began to change. Then, one quiet morning, she opened her eyes and saw her husband for the very first time. What she discovered about the man who had stood beside her all those years left her completely speechless. Naya was 25 years old when her father told her that she was going to marry a cowboy. She sat quietly on the wooden porch, listening to the evening wind move through the cottonwood trees. Since childhood, Naya had lived with severe vision loss. She could not see the mountains beyond the valley or the colors of the sky, but she knew her surroundings through sound, touch, and memory. Her father, Elias, believed he was protecting her future. "I have made an arrangement with Samuel Carter," he said. Naya's expression tightened. "An arrangement? He is a good man. He owns a ranch and can provide you with a safe home." Naya shook her head. "I do not need someone to feel sorry for me." "He does not feel sorry for you. How do you know?" "Because I spoke with him." Naya was angry that such an important decision had been discussed without her. Later that week, she met Samuel. He stood several steps away and spoke calmly. "Naya, I want you to understand something. If you do not want this marriage, I will not force you." She turned toward his voice. "Then why are you here?" Samuel paused. "Because your father asked me. But I will only agree if you choose it too." His answer surprised her. No one had spoken to her that way before. After a long silence, Naya agreed to marry him. The ceremony was simple, with only a few people present. Naya could not see the man standing beside her, but she listened carefully to his voice. Afterward, Samuel took her to his ranch. He showed her the room prepared for her and carefully explained where everything was. "You do not have to change who you are," he told her. Naya quietly touched the wooden doorway. For the first time, she wondered if the life her father had chosen for her might become something she could choose for herself. The first few weeks at Samuel's ranch were quiet. Naya spent her mornings learning the house by memory. She counted the steps from her bedroom to the kitchen, memorized the location of every chair, and learned the sound of the old wooden floor beneath her boots. Samuel never treated her as helpless. Whenever he moved something, he told her. Whenever she needed help, he waited for her to ask. One morning, Naya heard a horse making an unusual sound near the barn. "What is wrong?" she asked. Samuel looked surprised. "You noticed that? I know the horses by their sounds." He smiled. "Then perhaps you should meet him." Samuel guided her carefully toward the stall. Naya placed her hand against the horse's neck. The animal became calm. Samuel watched with admiration. "You have a way with them." Naya smiled. "So do you." Their conversations slowly became easier. They talked about their childhoods, their families, and the lives they had imagined before circumstances changed everything. One evening, Samuel returned from town looking troubled. Naya heard it in his footsteps. "Something happened." Samuel sighed. "A land company is trying to buy several ranches in this valley." "Why?" "They believe the land will become valuable." Naya became thoughtful. Her father had once mentioned something similar. "There may be a reason they want this particular valley." Samuel looked at her. "What do you mean?" "My father kept old maps and papers. He told me once that there was something unusual beneath these hills." The next morning, they searched through an old wooden chest Naya had brought from her family home. After several hours, Samuel found a faded map. It showed the valley and a natural water route beneath the surrounding land. He looked at Naya. "This runs beneath my ranch." Naya touched the edge of the paper. "My father knew about it." Suddenly, both understood that the land company's interest was probably not a coincidence. Samuel folded the map carefully. "We need to find out what your father knew." Naya nodded. For the first time, she realized that the marriage she had once feared might be connected to a secret much larger than either of them had imagined. The old map remained on Samuel's kitchen table for most of the morning. Naya sat beside him, running her fingers carefully along the raised lines of the paper. She could not see the markings, but Samuel described every detail to her. "There is a river here," he said. and these lines seem to lead beneath the valley. Naya became quiet. My father used to talk about water beneath the hills. Samuel looked at her. Did he ever explain why? Not completely. She thought for a moment. He said our family had protected an old agreement for many years. He told me the water was meant to help everyone in the valley, not just one person. Samuel leaned back. That explains why someone wants this land. Before they could continue, Naya remembered something. There was a wooden box. What kind? My father kept it hidden beneath the floorboards in our old home. They decided to visit the property. By late afternoon, they reached the abandoned house where Naya had spent much of her childhood. She walked slowly through the rooms, remembering where everything had once been. Then she stopped. 3 steps to the left. Samuel followed her instructions and found a loose floorboard. Beneath it was an old wooden box. Inside were letters, maps, and several faded documents. One letter immediately caught Naya's attention. Samuel read it aloud. Her father had written that powerful people had been trying to gain control of the valley's water for years. He believed Samuel was one of the few ranchers who would protect the land instead of selling it. Naya's face became tense. He chose you because of this. Samuel looked uncomfortable. I did not know. You did not. No. Naya stood and turned away. She was hurt. Her father had arranged her marriage without telling her the full truth. Samuel understood what she was feeling. I am sorry. Naya shook her head. This was my life. I should have been told. You are right. There was no argument in his voice. He did not try to defend her father's decision. That mattered to Naya. After a long silence, she asked, Do you regret marrying me? Samuel looked at her. At first, I thought I was doing something honorable because your father trusted me. But now I know something else. Naya waited. I married you because I wanted you to have a choice. I never wanted you to feel like you owed me anything. Naya's expression softened. For the first time, she understood that Samuel was different from the man her father had imagined for her. He was not trying to control her future. He was trying to give it back to her. That evening, they returned to the ranch with the documents. Then something unexpected happened. Naya woke before sunrise and noticed a faint difference in the darkness around her. She sat upright. 4 years, the world had been completely without sight. But now she could sense something. A soft glow. She called for Samuel. He hurried into the room. I think I can see light, she whispered. Samuel remained beside her. Neither of them knew what would happen next. But for the first time in years, Naya had hoped that she might one day see the face of the man whose voice had become so familiar. Over the following weeks, Naya's vision slowly improved. At first, she could only recognize light and shadows. Then shapes began to appear. Eventually, she could distinguish colors and familiar objects around the ranch. Samuel never rushed her. One morning, Naya asked him to sit beside her near the window. I want to see you, she said. Samuel smiled nervously. I am right here. Naya took a slow breath and opened her eyes. The world was blurry at first. Then the shape beside her became clearer. She saw Samuel's face for the first time. His weathered features. His dark eyes. The gray beginning to show in his hair. She stared at him quietly. Samuel smiled. Is everything all right? Naya laughed softly through her tears. You look different than I imagined. Is that good? She nodded. Very good. Then she looked around the room. For the first time, she saw the ranch she had learned to know through sound and touch. She saw the horses outside. The garden Samuel had prepared for her. The wooden porch. The hills beyond the house. But most importantly, she saw the man who had never treated her as helpless. Naya reached for his hand. I think I finally understand why my father trusted you. Samuel looked at her. And why is that? Because you never tried to decide my life for me. She smiled. You gave me the freedom to choose it. The land dispute was settled when the old documents proved that the valley's water was meant to remain available to the surrounding families. Samuel's ranch was safe. But for Naya, the greatest change had nothing to do with the land. One evening, she stood beside Samuel near the ranch gate, watching the sunset for the first time. For years, she had imagined the sky through the stories others told her. Now she could finally see it herself. She turned toward Samuel. "I spent so many years wondering what you looked like." Samuel smiled. "And?" Naya laughed. "You have more gray hair than I expected." Samuel laughed with her. Then Naya became quiet. "When my father arranged this marriage, I thought my future had been taken away from me." Samuel gently held her hand. "But you gave me something different," she continued. "You gave me a choice." Samuel looked into her eyes. "That was always yours." Naya smiled. She had regained something she never thought she would experience again. But the greatest surprise was not seeing the mountains, the ranch, or even the sunset. It was finally seeing the face of the man whose kindness had helped her feel free. And she knew she had chosen the right person to share her future with. Sometimes, we spend years searching for something we think we have lost, only to discover that the greatest gift was already waiting beside us. Naya spent most of her life unable to see the world around her. But when her sight finally returned, the first face she saw belonged to the man who had given her something even more important than vision: respect, freedom, and a reason to trust again. Like this video if you believe a person's true worth is shown through their actions and the kindness they give to others. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more original Western frontier stories filled with emotion, courage, mystery, unexpected friendships, and unforgettable moments. Comment below. Do you believe Naya made the right choice by staying with Samuel? Share this story with someone who believes that kindness and respect can change a person's entire life. This story is entirely fictional and created for entertainment and inspirational purposes. Any resemblance to actual people, places, organizations, or historical events is purely coincidental.